Have you ever noticed that the more you chase something, the further it seems to run away? It's a cruel irony of life. Whether it's a person, an opportunity, or even respect, desperation only pushes it further out of reach. But what if I told you that the secret to making them come back isn't in chasing, convincing, or proving your worth, but in mastering a simple, timeless Stoic practice? A practice so powerful that it naturally draws people toward you, making them wonder why they ever left in the first place. Think about this. The strongest men in history, the most magnetic individuals, were never the ones who begged for attention. They were the ones who remained composed, unmoved, and self-sufficient. They were the ones who understood that true power doesn't come from seeking validation, but from becoming someone so rare, so centered, that others are left with no choice but to be drawn back in. You see, in a world where people act out of impulse, where emotions rule decision-making, and where social media has made everyone desperate for instant gratification, the one who remains calm, in control, and indifferent stands out. They become a mystery, an enigma, something others cannot easily figure out. And what the human mind cannot fully grasp, it obsesses over. This is where Stoicism comes in. A philosophy that has stood the test of time, guiding men through battles, heartbreaks, and life's greatest challenges. It teaches you how to detach from outcomes, master your emotions, and embrace the art of silence and self-discipline. These are not just practices, they are weapons that make you untouchable. And when you become untouchable, people start to see you differently. They start to regret, they start to wonder, and eventually, they come back. But the question is, are you ready to step into this power? Are you ready to shift from a position of weakness to one of unshakable strength? Because in this video, I'm going to break down 8 Stoic principles that will completely change the way people perceive you. Before we begin, if you find value in this, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Because mastering yourself is a journey, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way. And don't forget to drop a comment below. Let me know if you've ever experienced the power of silence and self-control in your own life. Now let's dive in. 1. Detachment from outcome, the power of letting go. Imagine this. You send a message. Minutes pass, then hours. No response. Your mind starts racing. Did I say something wrong? Are they ignoring me? Should I send another message? The desperation creeps in, and suddenly, you're no longer in control. You're at their mercy, waiting for a response that may never come. But here's the hard truth. The moment you start chasing is the moment you lose all power. Now, let me ask you, have you ever noticed that the people who seem the least attached, the least invested, always hold the upper hand? The ones who don't beg for attention, who don't react emotionally, who can walk away without hesitation. These are the people others respect, admire, and even chase. That's because attachment is weakness and detachment is power. Detachment from outcome is the first and most crucial Stoic practice you must master. It means that no matter how much you want something, whether it's a relationship, an apology, or someone's attention, you remain unaffected by whether it happens or not. You are in control of yourself, not of them. And paradoxically, the moment you let go, the moment you stop needing a certain outcome, is the moment people start gravitating back toward you. Think of it like this. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But if you hold it loosely, it stays in place. People are the same way. The more you cling, the more they pull away. But when you release your need for control, when you show that you are fine with or without them, that's when they start to wonder. That's when their curiosity kicks in. Why aren't they chasing me? Why aren't they affected? Have they moved on? That silence, that mystery, it's irresistible. The The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." This is the mindset you must adopt. You cannot control how someone feels about you. You cannot control if they come back. But you can control how much power you give them over your emotions. So the next time you feel the urge to check your phone, to double text, to anxiously wait for validation, stop. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself that your worth is not determined by someone else's response. The strongest man in the room is the one who needs nothing from anyone, and that, my friend, is the man they can't resist coming back to. 2. Mastering emotional control. Silence is louder than words. Picture this: you get a cold, distant text from someone you care about. Maybe it's a short reply, maybe it's no reply at all. Your heart starts pounding, your mind races with thoughts. Did I do something wrong? Are they losing interest? Should I confront them? The urge to react is overwhelming. Your emotions take control, and before you know it, you're caught in a whirlwind of anxiety, frustration, or even anger. But let me ask you, who holds the power in this moment? Not you. The moment you let someone else dictate your emotions, you hand them control over your mind, your peace, and ultimately, your power. And nothing is less attractive than a person who is ruled by their emotions. Here's the secret that the strongest, most unshakable men throughout history understood. Silence is stronger than reaction. Restraint is more powerful than impulse. The man who controls his emotions controls the situation. You see, most people are predictable. When they get ignored, they panic. When they feel slighted, they lash out. When they don't get the response they want, they overreact. And in doing so, they expose their weakness. But the rare man, the Stoic man, remains unmoved. He does not beg for attention. He does not react to provocation. He does not let external forces dictate his inner world. Imagine this. Someone tries to provoke you. They expect you to lash out, to defend yourself, to prove your worth. But instead, you remain calm. You say nothing. You walk away. Do you know what happens next? They become the one who feels uneasy. They start wondering, why didn't he react? Why didn't he fight for my attention? Your silence forces them to reflect, to question, and most importantly, to feel your absence. This is why Stoics like Marcus Aurelius preached the power of mastering one's emotions. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Strength does not come from proving yourself to others. Strength comes from knowing you don't have to. So the next time someone tries to get a reaction out of you, remember this: the storm that rages within you only has power if you let it escape. Keep your composure. Maintain your silence. Let them feel your emotional control. And when they realize they can no longer shake you, that's when they come back, wondering what changed, why they no longer have the same effect on you. And that's when you'll know you've won. Practice 3. The power of absence. Let them feel the void. Imagine this. You were always there, always available, always the one to check in, to reach out, to keep the connection alive. And yet, the more you gave, the more they took you for granted. They stopped appreciating your presence because they knew, no matter what, they could always find you waiting. But what happens when you suddenly disappear? When you no longer respond as quickly? When you no longer initiate? When your presence turns into absence? That's when they feel it. Most people don't realize what they have until it's gone. It's human nature. When something is readily available, it loses its value. But when it's taken away, when it's no longer within reach, the mind begins to obsess over it. This is why absence is one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. It creates a void that forces them to confront your worth. Think about the last time you lost something important, a friend, a relationship, even a favorite item. At first, you may not have thought much of it, but as time passed, the absence grew louder. The space they once occupied felt empty. And then it hit you. You started to miss it. The same applies to people. When you pull away, you give them a choice one. They realize your value and come back. 2, they don't. And that tells you everything you need to know. Either way, you win. This is where most people fail. They fear creating distance because they think they'll be forgotten. But here's the truth. The ones who truly value you won't forget you. They will feel your absence like a missing piece of their life. And when that silence grows unbearable, they will be the ones reaching out. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Don't waste your time begging for attention that should be freely given. Instead, shift your energy inward. Work on yourself. Become better, stronger, more disciplined. Let your absence be filled with self-improvement, not desperation. And when they finally come back, you decide whether they are still worth your time. Because by then, you will have become someone who doesn't just give away his presence, you make them earn it. Now, if you're ready to master the art of absence and take back your power, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. And tell me in the comments, have you ever walked away only to have them chase after you? Let's talk. 4. Self-improvement over. Validation becomes so great they can't ignore you. Picture this. You're constantly checking your phone, waiting for their message, hoping for a sign that they still care. Your mind is consumed by thoughts of them, what they're doing, who they're with, why they're acting distant. But here's the truth you might not want to hear. The more you focus on them, the less they focus on you. Why? Because obsession and neediness repel, but self-improvement, that's magnetic. Now, imagine a different scenario. Instead of waiting, instead of chasing, instead of wasting your energy on someone who may not even be thinking about you, you shift your focus entirely. You hit the gym. You refine your mindset. You level up in every aspect, physically, mentally, emotionally. You become so dedicated to your growth that you no longer have time to wonder if they're watching. And that's when they start paying attention. You see, most people make the fatal mistake of trying to win others over through words, gestures, or desperate attempts to prove their worth. But true value isn't spoken, it's shown, it's felt. When you become a man on a mission, when your energy shifts from seeking approval to becoming your best self, people take notice. Even the ones who once overlooked you. Think about it. Why do people regret losing someone only when that person moves on and levels up? Why do exes suddenly reach out when they see you thriving? It's because deep down, people don't admire words, they admire transformation. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." In other words, stop overthinking, stop hoping for validation, just become undeniable. So instead of texting them, text a trainer and start your fitness journey. Instead of scrolling their social media, start building something of your own, whether it's a business, a skill, or a new passion. Instead of wondering if they miss you, become the version of yourself that they'll regret losing. And the best part? By the time they notice, by the time they finally realize what they lost, you may not even want them back, because you'll be too busy living your best life, surrounded by people who actually see your worth without you having to prove it. This is your wake-up call. Stop seeking, start building, and when they come back, that's when you'll know you never needed them. They needed you. If this resonates with you, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more powerful Stoic wisdom. And drop a comment below. What's one area of your life you're committed to leveling up starting today? Let's hold each other accountable. 5. Speaking less, meaning more, the power of mystery. Imagine this. You're in a conversation with someone who talks endlessly, over-explaining every detail, trying to impress, trying to fill every silence. At first you listen, but after a while their words start to lose weight. They say too much. They reveal too much. And because of that, they become predictable, ordinary. Now think about the opposite. Think about the man who speaks with precision. He doesn't rush to fill the silence. He doesn't blurt out every thought just to keep someone's attention. When he speaks, his words carry weight. His presence commands attention without him having to beg for it. He is a mystery, and mystery is power. This is the man people can't forget. Most people don't realize this, but silence is one of the greatest weapons you can wield. The less you say, the more others lean in to hear. The less you reveal, the more they wonder about you. And when someone is left wondering about you, they can't stop thinking about you, and that's when you have them. Think of history's most influential leaders, warriors and philosophers. Did they waste words? Number. They spoke with intent. They knew that excessive talking often leads to regret, while restraint creates power. The Stoics mastered this. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others. Instead, be self-sufficient. You don't need to explain yourself to people. You don't need to prove anything. The moment you feel the urge to overtalk, to overshare, to explain your worth, stop. Instead, let your actions speak. Let your presence be felt, not over-explained." Have you ever noticed that when someone pulls away and goes quiet, your curiosity about them grows? That's because people crave what they don't fully understand. The more unpredictable, the more composed, the more reserved you are, the more intriguing you become. So, the next time someone expects a reaction from you, hold back. When they wait for you to overshare, give them just enough to keep them thinking. And when they try to figure you out, leave them wondering. Because the man who speaks less, but means more, is the man they can't get out of their head. If you're ready to embrace this power, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. And tell me in the comments, have you ever used silence to your advantage? Let's talk. 6. Indifference. The art of not caring and why it makes them obsessed. Imagine this. You used to care too much. You analyzed every text, replayed every conversation, and tried to figure out what they were thinking. If they pulled away, you panicked. If they ignored you, you wondered why. You were emotionally invested in every little move they made, and they knew it. And that's exactly why they lost respect for you. But now, imagine a different version of yourself, one who simply doesn't care. Someone ignores your text. Fine. They pull away, you let them go. They try to make you jealous. You don't even notice, because you are no longer moved by the actions of others. You are no longer controlled by the fear of losing someone. You are indifferent. And that's when everything changes. Why? Because indifference is power. When someone realizes they no longer have control over your emotions, when they see that their absence doesn't affect you, it drives them crazy. People want to feel important. They want to feel like they matter. And when you take that away, when you show them that you are perfectly fine with or without them, they start chasing that feeling again. It's ironic, isn't it? The more you cared, the less they did. But the moment you stop caring, they start craving your attention. That's because humans are wired to want what they can't have. And when you are indifferent, you become something they can't fully grasp, something they can't fully control. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus once said, If a person gave your body to a stranger to abuse, you would be indignant. Yet you hand over your mind to anyone who insults you and allow it to be troubled and upset. Think about that. Why let someone else dictate your peace? Why let someone else decide your worth? The moment you stop giving away your emotional energy, you reclaim your power. So, what does this mean in practice? It means, if they ignore you, you don't react. If they come back, you don't get excited. If they test you, you don't play their game. If they leave, you let them go without hesitation. Because a truly powerful man doesn't need validation from anyone. He is complete within himself. And that kind of energy, that's what makes people come back. So, if you're ready to stop chasing and start attracting, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. And drop a comment below. Have you ever noticed that the moment you stop caring, they start paying attention? Let's discuss. 7. The law of scarcity. Make your presence a privilege, not a given. Imagine this. Every time they called, you answered. Every time they needed you, you were there. You never made them wait, never made them wonder, never gave them a reason to miss you. And yet, they still pulled away. They still lost interest. They still started treating you as an option instead of a priority. Why? Because what is always available is never valued. Now picture something rare, something difficult to get. A luxury car, a limited edition watch, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. People crave these things, not just because of their quality, but because they are scarce. The harder something is to attain, the more valuable it becomes. And the same applies to you. When you make yourself too available, when you always answer immediately, when you say yes too often, when you never create space for them to miss you, you become like background noise, predictable, taken for granted, easily replaceable. But when you make your presence scarce, when you limit access to yourself, everything changes. Suddenly, they start wondering about you. Suddenly, they start craving your attention. Suddenly, they realize they can't just have you whenever they want. And that's when you become valuable. Have you ever noticed that people want what they can't have? That when someone pulls away, we become obsessed with getting them back? That's the law of scarcity in action. The moment you stop making yourself so easy to reach, you become the person they start chasing. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your judgment of them. And it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now." What does this mean? It means that you decide how much access people get to you. You decide who is worthy of your time. You decide whether you are a rare prize or just another option. So, how do you apply this? Stop always being available. Let them wonder what you're doing. Be unpredictable. Don't always say yes. Don't always respond immediately. Have a life outside of them. Build yourself up so that they feel lucky to get a moment of your time. Because when you make your presence a privilege, not a given, you force people to respect, admire, and chase you. Now, if you're ready to step into your power, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. And tell me in the comments, have you ever made yourself scarce and seen the shift in how people treated you? Let's talk. 8. The power of walking away, the ultimate test of strength. Imagine this. You've done everything right. You've been patient, understanding, and loyal. You've given them chances, overlooked their mistakes, and tried to make things work. And yet, they still treat you like an option. They still take you for granted. They still believe that no matter what they do, you'll always be there waiting. But what if this time you didn't wait? What if, instead of explaining yourself, begging for respect, or tolerating disrespect, you simply walked away? No arguments, no warnings, no desperate pleas. Just silence. A silence that speaks louder than any words ever could. Because here's the truth most people don't realize. The most powerful move you can ever make is walking away from what doesn't value you. It forces them to feel your absence, to confront what they lost, and to realize, too late, that you were never someone to be taken lightly. And that's when everything shifts. When you walk away, you shatter their illusion of control. You show them that you are not dependent on their validation, their attention, or their approval. You prove that your self-worth isn't up for debate. And suddenly, the power they thought they had over you? Gone. It's human nature. People only truly appreciate something when they feel the threat of losing it. The more you tolerate mistreatment, the more they believe they can get away with it. But the moment you walk away, the moment you choose yourself over them, you force them to wake up. The Stoics mastered this principle. Epictetus once said, "If someone is able to provoke you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." In other words, no one has power over you unless you allow them to. The moment you withdraw your energy, your attention, your presence, they lose their grip on you. Walking away doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you weren't invested. It means you refuse to be anywhere you're not valued. It's the ultimate test of your strength, discipline, and self-respect. So what does this look like in action? If they play games, you don't play along. You leave the table. If they treat you like an option, you remove yourself from their life. If they only realize your worth once you're gone, you remind yourself it's too late. Because a man who is truly strong never begs to be chosen. And the irony? The moment you walk away, the moment you show them that you are perfectly fine without them, that's when they want you back. If you're ready to take back your power, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. And tell me in the comments, have you ever walked away and seen someone regret losing you? Let's discuss. Conclusion. Your power lies in your own hands. You've learned 8 timeless Stoic practices, each one designed to help you regain control, reclaim your self-worth, and create an aura of mystery, strength, and invincibility. Every single step, from embracing silence to mastering indifference, from making yourself scarce to walking away when necessary, is rooted in one fundamental truth. Your value comes from within. When you stop seeking external validation and start building a life so full and powerful that it doesn't depend on others for meaning, you become the one they can't ignore. The moment you shift your energy from chasing to attracting, from giving without receiving to becoming someone worth chasing, is the moment your life changes. So, remember, the power of silence, absence, and walking away isn't just in what it makes others feel about you. It's in what it makes you feel about yourself. You are the prize, and when you start acting like it, the world will follow. Now, if these practices resonated with you, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with someone who could use a little Stoic wisdom, and subscribe to join the community. Let me know in the comments which practice stood out to you the most, and share your thoughts on how you're implementing these strategies in your own life. Until next time, remember, your strength lies in your ability to control your reactions, your mindset, and your actions. And that, my friend, is the most powerful thing you can ever possess. Stay strong, stay silent, stay powerful.